Alrighty, welcome everybody. Give it a sec to get a couple more people in here. Hey Tim,
Okay.
got to pull myself away from the new Google Gemini Nano Banana image generation model to work on Stammer stuff today.
I didn't know about that. How is it?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll have a video. Video should be
Nice.
actively being posted right now, but is what everyone on the socials is talking about. All right, so some more people get in here. We'll get started today. Some general housekeeping, as we always like to start off with. If you're new to Stammer or you're just tuning in on YouTube, we've got a bunch of different support options for everyone available. Specifically, if you're in the application itself, app.stammer.ai, all of our support options are available in the support tab. Or if you just go to stammer.ai/support, all of our support options and links to documentation and meetings and all of that good stuff are all available here as well. We don't have too many updates this week for new stuff. We will be doing a short little demo of voice today, but typically we always like to tell people about our roadmap and our change log. This is where all of our public release notes will be available to everybody. So you can go to roadmap.stammer.ai and be able to look at all of our release notes. The next release should be up in a couple days with some more enhancements to the platform. But this one, we went over these in release notes last week. So if you want to review those, you can by going to the roadmap, or if you're in the Stammer dashboard, you can go into the changelog area over here. So this is available to everybody. And it's really important to mention that we have our daily support calls as well. A lot of people might not be familiar with these because Tim and I will sometimes sit on those support calls, kind of waiting for people to join, but sometimes people don't join and then are curious as to where our support options are. Well, we're available every single day, 11:30 a.m. PST to 12 p.m. So right after this office hours call. And a lot of people who do join get a lot of benefit from that because we can help you one-on-one solve any problems or answer any questions about the platform or general stuff about how to scale and run your agency. So that being said, we'll do a quick little demo on voice. I know we've been talking about this for many months, and some general background. We had to essentially rebuild it a couple times in order to make sure that it would work for the use cases that most of our agencies and customers are implementing. And it's quite a range of the types of customers that we have, or the types of customers that our agencies support. Anything from the mom and pop, bakery or dentist office to a large enterprise business with like a call center and things like that. So we wanted to make sure that it would work for all those use cases and be able to scale up to any sort of individual call volume or functionality. And so there's a lot of interesting platforms on the market right now that offer, I would say, similar functionality, but none offer a white labeled version of voice like we have been working on. So we have given beta access to a couple different of our top tier agencies, and they are currently testing this as well. And we will be slowly releasing this out to our full SaaS mode users first, because that is one of the benefits of being on that plan is getting early access to new features. And then we will be eventually rolling it out in limited capacity to the agency tier customers as well. Um, Anybody on the starter plan will not have access to voice out the gate. We will be coming out with some new subscriptions later on in the year. But that being said, anybody who's on a current subscription, your base subscription cost will not increase for voice, but we will be charging for different aspects of voice, very similar to chat. So, for example, if you have, let's say you're on the agency tier plan, you have you have a number of chat agents. You have like I believe you have about 20 chat agents as a balance. We will be also providing a balance of voice agents. And if you need to get more voice agents, then you can purchase additional voice agents as needed. And that will allow us to scale things up and not have to charge anybody a ton of money up front in order to keep our platform running and kind of humming along as we scale this out. We're going to be very careful and very intentional about how we release voice to our customers, and we're going to be providing a lot of training as well to you all and agencies who are watching this tutorial on or watching these videos and tutorials on YouTube as well. This is going to be probably our biggest feature release of the year, if not ever, since we originally started. So soon you will be seeing a app version of Stammer 2.0, which will signify our full release of AI voice. So right now, as it stands, when we are deploying AI voice agents to the agencies who are in our beta program and certain full SaaS mode customers, right now it's specifically at the agency level. And this is one of those things that we are doing very intentionally to make sure that we are making sure that our core functionality of these voice agents is working flawlessly as we start to add in more complexity to the platform. And basically, what that means is right now, as it stands, this will be a agency level feature only. So agencies, you'll be able to test this out internally. You'll be able to set these up for yourself, or if you'd like to set this up for a customer, you can. However, this right now, this AI agent will just live within your agency level dashboard. And as we start to get more feedback and work out some of the kinks here, we will then add in the additional functionality of being able to add in voice agents to specific client sub accounts, which then brings in things like updates to our SaaS configurator, which is the ability to create subscription plans that will include both voice agents and chat agents, as well as everything else related to that. So think like usage costs and how much it's going to cost per minute to you as the agency versus how much you're going to charge your client cost per minute. So all of that additional functionality is going to be coming out in the next little while as we start to get more feedback from our customers. And all of this is very, like I said, it's very intentional, and we're doing this a little bit slower than we would release things normally. But that's just to ensure that nothing breaks, everything works perfectly fine, and we're able to, offer a quality product to you agencies who then can offer that to your clients. The other item here is we're going to be initially launching with our inbound phone calls, AI agent phone calls. So this will allow you to set up a phone number and then set up a AI agent behind this phone number. And then anytime somebody calls this phone number, the AI agent will pick up and they will be able to talk with the customer and take actions accordingly. The flip side of this is outbound, and outbound is essentially the same thing, but instead of receiving a call, the AI agent will be making a phone call. And it's very important to note that this will only be available for opted in leads, especially in the United States. It is becoming very illegal to cold call consumers, especially ones that have not opted in for anything with a AI and outbound phone system. So there's going to be some protections in place for you as the agency, as well as your clients and your client sub accounts, to make sure that that doesn't happen. For example, we will not be allowing customers to upload a massive list of phone numbers and then just bulk phone calls. And that's very intentional to make sure that no one is, setting themselves up for any issues or things like that. So outbound is going to be a very cool feature. That being said, it's all going to work within the context of inbound webhooks. and notifications. So what that means is when a lead opts into a CRM or a third-party system, that will trigger a notification to the Stammer system that will then send an outbound phone call to that user. And everything will work in a very similar fashion where the AI agent will talk with the user and they can ask them questions, help qualify that user, give information depending on what the prompt requires, and then of course be able to extract all that information and update a CRM accordingly. So for the inbound side and the outbound side, there's going to be a very simple and straightforward process of how you build and create an AI agent or an AI voice.
Question.
Just silence that real quick. So there's a very simple and straightforward process for this, and we're going to try to adopt this to more parts of our platform as well. The first piece is configuring the AI agent itself. This will allow you to select a language or a multi-version of multiple different languages as well. For each language, there's going to be many different voices that you can choose from. A lot of them will be from 11 Labs or OpenAI, and you can go through and play and hear different voices. A lot of these from 11 Labs are really good, and let me just turn on my sound here. So let me play a couple.
Hi there, I'm Evie, your friendly AI, ready to help out with whatever question or task you've got.
Welcome. Say hello to James, your reflective AI assistant.
Hello, I'm Ryan, your interactive assistant, here to provide personalized support and solutions. What can I help you tackle or resolve today?
So a lot of these are, as we all might be familiar with, 11 Labs, and these are some of the more higher quality voices that can be used inside of these voice agents, which is pretty cool. And when 11 Labs makes they just did an update on their system where they have even higher quality and more emotional type voices. Once those are available, we will be adding those as well. The first sentence is very straightforward. This is just the first line that the AI agent is going to speak to the user. Everything can be customized here as well as the main prompt. Now, the main prompt is basically the exact same as what you would expect to see in the chat agents side, the base system prompt. And this is where you're going to be able to add in any information that the AI agent would have access to very quickly, the information about how it should run the phone call, and any questions or information that it should extract from the user. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can process this information, and we'll have a bunch of templates and tutorials on how to make good prompts for voice agents, because while it is very similar, it is also a little slightly different than a chat agent, because we want to make it work and sound as if it was more likely like it was talking to a human on the phone. So we'll have a bunch of prompts and templates for that. The next piece is the call settings, and this will allow you to set some of the more basic settings of each phone call, like the max duration of the phone call, as well as the background audio. So this is probably one of my favorite features of the entire system, and being able to not just have it be a completely silent, dead background audio. This will give it a little bit more flavor and character. So that's pretty cool. And there's some different options here that you can choose from. Of course, you can record all of the phone calls. By default, all of the transcripts will be available and those will be recorded, but you can actually record the entire phone call itself, and then being able to transfer any phone number when the AI agent sees fit. We'll have some more information and documentation on this in the coming days. Of course, there's the knowledge base, and this is going to be an optional field. So whereas in a chat agent, you kind of need to have some sort of knowledge base, in a voice agent, you don't necessarily need to have a voice agent. Tim has a really good example of this where we deployed a voice agent to one of our dentist offices, And they didn't need a knowledge base at all. All the information that was needed for that voice agent went inside of the prompt directly. And the benefit of doing this is the responses are a little bit more snappy and quick, but it's also more like self-contained in a sense. The functionality and the responses with a knowledge base are just as quick, and it does help to provide a lot more information. But typically, when a voice agent is deployed, it has a very specific function and role within the context of where it's going to be deployed, whether it's a receptionist or somebody that's following up with leads or confirming an appointment and things like that. So a knowledge base, while available and while everything works well within our knowledge base system for voice agents, it's not going to be required nor enforced. And so that's that. The custom tools is essentially the same thing as our custom functionality that we have in our chat agents. And this will allow you to connect voice agents to third-party platforms. Right now, it's all going to be done through normal HTTP requests and post and get requests. And if you're not familiar with that, again, we'll have some tutorials on how to do and how to make connections with these with some popular platforms like Shopify and like Go High Level and HubSpot, things like that. So that will allow the agent to get more dynamic information about each user, figure out where, if they have an appointment scheduled and things like that. And then finally, the analytics tab, which should look very familiar and similar to the chat side of things, where you can summarize the entire conversation and be able to get any information that you'd like from the summary, as well as being able to extract lead data from the phone call. Now, this will work very well because there's a very clearly defined trigger when a conversation has ended. The information that is pulled from the lead collection fields, as well as the summary, as well as things like the transcript of the phone call itself, all of that information can be immediately sent to an email or a webhook. And this has been one of the most important pieces from the initial feedback that we've been getting from businesses that we've deployed this to already, which is, and I might have given this example, or Tim, do you want to give this example? I think you explained it really well, the one with the receptionist and the transcripts.
Just how valuable the
Yeah.
transcripts.
Yeah.
So that was actually a little surprising. I didn't expect that. But one of the key things they love is that before this, they were using the business voicemail system, right? Your typical voicemail system. And I keep telling people this is the easiest sell in the world because in 2025, no one should be using that anymore. It's so much more valuable to have an AI agent that can just do basic responses and stuff like that. As an example, one time a person called in and it was a representative from another a dental lab, actually, people that make crowns, stuff like that. And this person had called in because the employee that we had been working with died. And with a typical voicemail, obviously you have no feedback whatsoever, right? But the agent responds, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We will collect your details and get back to you." That really, really impressed them. The thing that they were also most impressed with is the transcripts, because now instead of having to go back and listen to all these voicemails, they just get a transcript and they can quickly look at it, quickly get the context of whatever it is about, and they can go in their system to just quickly respond via text message to the customers. So that is one thing my fiance, who is the dentist, when she's telling people about it, she always talks about the transcripts and how valuable they are.
Love that. Andy asks, will the AI voice agent support Norwegian language? Yes, Norwegian is available as a language. So, yep, that should be good to go. It'll work in native Norwegian, but it should also work in the multilingual option as well. And just to reinforce what Tim was just saying, this is another really good example of the simple use case, the simple value adds are the most valuable for a lot of business owners right now. Yes, having a custom tool, custom function integration with a CRM, yes, that's very useful. However, on a daily basis to enhance that employee's job instead of having to listen to voicemails, they can now read those transcripts and be able to very easily see the data that has been extracted from that. This is going to be one of those easy additions that a lot of businesses will really like. And especially because we can set this up to where if this information gets sent to a webhook, that information could then be sent as a text message to the business owner. So they wake up with information, with that information basically right away. And he asks, when will the AI voice agents be available to the full SaaS mode subscribers? Probably within the next week or two, probably 2 to 3 weeks. Like I said, we're doing our initial. There are several of our top agency clients who have thousands of businesses and thousands of clients on our platform, and we typically will have them kind of stress test everything for us. So they are currently using it right now. And once we make sure that there's no issues with the platform from their feedback, then we will roll it out to our full SaaS mode subscribers, and we'll do another round of feedback. And and then once that is good to go, then we will then roll it out to our agency tier clients. And during that process, we will be also implementing the updates for our SaaS configurator, rebilling for voice usage. We will be working on the outbound side of the phone call system as well. So there's going to be a lot of updates and stuff to this specific module of the platform that will touch other pieces of the system. And this is why we're going slow, and we want to make sure that it functions the way that everyone is expecting. The core functionality works well, and nothing is breaking any existing stuff. How does it handle rescheduling and cancellations? So that would be done within the custom tool set. So anything that needs to touch another system, it would have access to that. And inside of the prompt, you would basically tell it to be able to call that function with information about how someone would need to update or reschedule the system or for that specific client. Now, that being said, with the dentist office, we didn't do any of that. We basically just set it up so that way the receptionist is reading that information, and then she is then doing that part manually. So there are many.
Scheduling. No, I was just going to say, Russ, scheduling appointments for the dental office is too complex to have it
Yeah.
be done realistically by an AI agent. What they prefer to, because you have to understand the use case fully, right? Many people think, oh, I'm going to have an AI agent that's just going to reschedule and schedule appointments for me. But it's actually more valuable, at least for the dental office, to speak with the customer to actually get the appointment scheduled. There are multiple reasons for that. In the future, will there be some lightweight way to do that? Maybe, but so far it's best to actually speak to the customer.
Yeah. And that's also because they're using I forgot the name of the scheduling their system that they're using, which is very.
Oh, the practice management system.
Yeah, so that it also depends on where that information is held. So for example, with a platform like cal.com that has a very open API and allows us to it allows us to interact with that system very easily. Doing scheduling, rescheduling and cancellations will work way more easily than it would be if it's a closed proprietary system for like a dentist office, for example. So it also really depends where that information is being held. But again, there's other ways to do this with the AI agent being able to ask, the user, hey, when would be a good time for us to call you back, and things like that. And that's kind of more of that manual approach, which while these agents can do, technically they can do all of this, scheduling, rescheduling, cancellations, and all that. From the business owner's point of view, that might not be what they find most valuable. And that again is one of the things that we found to be most surprising when deploying this to real businesses ourselves before we even offered this to agencies, was how business owners, how our clients are starting to interact with this information. And that's been helping us figure out how to approach building this stuff in the first place, is seeing how those businesses are using that information. and within their daily business life, so to speak. I went on for a little bit longer than normal. Does anybody have any questions or comments on any of this aside from what we just went over? This will be a common topic that we talk about over the next couple weeks. So next week we will definitely have more updates for everybody, and we will be reviewing more information here. Trey says, little off topic, I'm building my subscription right now and wanted to know what's a good number of storage characters to provide on average. Is any amount too much? Typically, we recommend people to start with about 1 million characters of storage as a base per AI agent, especially for the chat side of things. That usually will give people enough storage capacity to upload a few documents, scrape some websites, and any other text and information that you might need. So typically I would start there, and then if they need more, then you can upgrade from there. What is the next big feature to be launched for the normal AI chat agents? We're looking at a couple different things. I would say one of them is the on-page awareness feature. So we've been looking into that. Some people have been asking about that more frequently. So that is something that we are looking into, which would be very cool. Yes. Yep. Yeah, that is a cool one. So technically we did figure out a solution for this, and we're working on prioritizing that within our stack in relation to voice, because voice is definitely our number one priority to get this out for everyone right now. On-page awareness would be a game changer. Yep, agreed. So stoked that you guys are excited about it as well. That definitely helps when we get reinforcement and hearing more people that are interested into that. Alrighty. Well, I think that will do it. Follow-ups would be great to have. Yep, that is something that we are also exploring as well. We've looked into that in the past. What is the ETA? Tough to say. Voice is right now taking our priority and bandwidth, so no ETA on that yet, but once we wrap up our voice, then that should be one of our more high priority issues to tackle. Cool. Well, Tim and I will also be on our daily support call here in a few minutes. So if anybody else wants to join on that, we will be able to continue the conversation on some of these topics. When a chat is suddenly going quiet, then the follow-up would be great to enhance the conversation. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what we're planning on. So cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Take care.
See you guys next